just don't even have words. Our firefighters are trained for that area. Our firefighters have the equipment, they have the desire, they have the will, they have the power to go up and actually, I know some of those girls could have been survived if we had had a best boat crew the day before on scene. I know it.
An emergency meeting of the Austin Firefighters Association today as they consider holding a vote of no confidence in the Austin fire chief. It's over allegations he delayed sending out support to Kerrville in particular in wake of those devastating floods. The chief told us that he believes he and the department are doing everything they can for Central Texas communities. And now we're hearing from some city leaders who are in support of the fire chief. However, KXAN's Avery Travis has been following all this and joins us now with more on what led up to this debate. Avery, talk to us about how this all got started.
Well, you heard there from Bob Nix. He's the president of the association, and he says he knows of firefighters contacted by the state more than a day before those dangerous floodwaters began to rise from the Guadalupe and Kerr County. He says he believes that Austin is more than equipped to have deployed early and to have been in that area and he says that he believes if they had done that he believes lives could have been saved there. Now, we heard a bit from the governor just now about that pre-deployment. This is all part of a mutual aid process. It's a very organized process across the state, but Nix claims Austin first responders, local people here, said no to those requests because of an order. You're looking at that, an email from AFD leadership back in June suspending these kinds of deployments. Now, in an interview, though, last night, the AFD fire chief told us he first heard a request from the state on July 4th. He says he sent 3 of the 5 people requested. We asked about his decision of who to send, and here's a bit of what he had to say.
I was not confident in the weather reports as far as what impact it would have had on the city of Austin itself and the surrounding areas. So I wanted to make sure that as the fire chief of Austin, that I had enough resources in place to protect the city of Austin, Travis County, and those surrounding areas that we're responsible to.
Now, well, we also asked the chief about that email, and we'll note it's an email from a division chief on June 6th. It essentially said they were going to be suspending these kinds of mutual aid deployments because of some cost concerns in reimbursing firefighters for their time when they are deployed. So we asked the chief about that. He stated that they initiated that suspension because there were some internal issues getting reimbursed, but he did acknowledge that the email should have maybe been more clear. He, in fact, told me that he believes the email should have said that deployments would be on a case-by-case basis, particularly given the seriousness of this situation across Central Texas.
Thank you for catching us up on what led up to this moment. But as of this afternoon, it seems like city leaders are backing up the fire chief.
Just minutes ago, we heard official statements from the mayor and also the city manager. I want to bring you a few of those. Essentially, though, they both say they support the chief. We'll read you. The city manager said in part, it's disappointing that the Firefighters Association would make these allegations and consider such a vote, especially while these communities continue to grieve and recover. He went on to say it's even more disheartening how quickly the association's claims spread because so many people are ready to place blame. Now, the mayor said in part, unlike Bob, I actually talked to Chief Nim Kidd, the chief of the Texas Division of Emergency Management, over the weekend. In one of our talks, I asked Chief Kidd if he was getting all he needed from Austin and if there was anything else he needed. Mayor Kirk Watson went on to say the chief characterized Austin's response as above and beyond.
Okay, so those reactions are still coming in for all of this, but what comes next?
Nix did explain in a conversation with me last night that if they decide to move forward with a vote of no confidence in the chief, that would actually happen next week or at a later date because they would need to give firefighters here locally time to weigh in and to vote. That would likely happen online over a period of a few days, but given city leadership's reactions just minutes ago, we're still waiting to see what will happen there, Will.
I know you'll keep following it, so Avery Travis, thanks again for being with us.
Thanks again.